Have you ever felt like fear is the only thing standing between you and success? Like every time you want to take the next step, that little voice in your head whispers, "What if I fail?" Well, if you've ever hesitated to launch a business, scale up, or even take a risk in life because you're afraid of failing, you're definitely not alone. The fear of failure is one of the biggest reasons entrepreneurs hold themselves back. But here's the truth. Failure is not the enemy. It's actually a tool. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to overcome that fear of failure so you can move forward with confidence. We're going to talk about why failure is actually a necessary part of success. We're going to discuss the psychological reasons we fear failure and how to reframe them into more positive, constructive dialogue. We're going to go over some practical tips to push past that fear and take action anyway. And we're also going to see how successful entrepreneurs turn failures into stepping stones. Let's get started. All right, let's talk a little bit about the psychological reasons why we tend to fear failure and why it might be holding you back. Now, the fear of failure is rooted in four principal elements. Number one is perfectionism. We're taught from an early age that mistakes mean that we're not good enough. Now, where do these ideas come from? Well, more often than not, they tend to come from parents who truly want our best interests at heart, but don't know how to constructively help us with our mistakes. But even more often than that is the way that the educational system rigidly punishes mistakes. And here's where I have a real problem with the way children are educated, especially in the United States. Let's say that a child doesn't understand a math problem or a math theorem the way that maybe another student does. Well, that student is rigidly punished. They might get a failing grade on a test, or they might get a failing grade even in the class itself. Now, contrast that with other cultures who may offer a more supportive stance to the student. When students are rigidly punished for making mistakes, it goes deep into their psyche and really makes them fear mistakes and keeps them stuck in a cycle of negativity and self doubt. But let's go ahead and move on. Number two is judgment from others. Now, a lot of business owners feel embarrassment when they make a mistake. And the truth is, they may fear this embarrassment more than the actual failure. Having to go back and tell colleagues, family, friends, even employees that something didn't work out the way that you had hoped it would can really be a stressful experience that a lot of business owners just don't want to have to deal with. Number three is financial risk. You might hear that voice in your head saying, "What if this investment doesn't pay off the way I need it to or the way I want it to?" And number four is self doubt. That little voice in your head might even be asking you, "Am I even capable of doing this?" But here's a key point to remember. Failure is not proof that you're not meant to succeed. Failure is proof that you're in the game. The only people who never fail are the people who never try. Here's why we need to reframe our view of failure. Instead of viewing it as something to be avoided at all costs, we really need to look at it as a stepping stone to future success. Think about these three examples from history that show that one failure can turn into success very quickly. Number one is Airbnb. Did you know that the concept of Airbnb was rejected by investors dozens of times before finding success and taking off? Or how about Walt Disney? He was fired from a job for lacking creativity. As we all know, he was one of the most creative people in history and went on to found a multi-billion-dollar business. Or how about Oprah Winfrey? She was told initially that she was not fit for television before going on to become one of the largest media moguls in history. Remember, failure is an asset, not a liability. Well, why is that? Well, number one, failure builds resilience. Every failure you encounter teaches you how to recover faster the next time. Number two, failure provides feedback. It's not an endpoint, it's data. It allows you to learn from it and pivot and adjust your strategy accordingly. Number three, failure separates you from the competition. Most people quit after failing one or two times. Those who persist win the game. Okay, so what are some practical ways to overcome the fear of failure? Well, there's four strategies that you might want to keep in mind. Number one is to redefine failure as a part of growth. Instead of asking, what if I fail? Start asking, what will I learn if this doesn't work out? When you shift your mindset, failure becomes a stepping stone instead of a roadblock. Number two, take small risks to build confidence. Don't let fear stop you from taking action. Start small. Test a new idea. Launch a beta version. Take a calculated risk. Confidence comes from doing, not waiting. Number three is to pause and visualize the worst case scenario. What's the absolute worst thing that could happen? Would you lose everything? Probably not. And if the worst did happen, could you recover? Well, 99% of the time, the answer is yes. Number four, surround yourself with the right people. Fear thrives in isolation. But when you have mentors, when you have a strong network, when you have supportive, encouraging friends and family, or even just fellow business owners who've been through it, failure feels less scary. Remember, small wins build unstoppable confidence. Okay, here are some ways to turn failure into your competitive advantage. If you do experience a setback, ask three questions afterwards. Number one, what did I learn from this experience? Number two, how can I improve next time? Number three, what is one action that I can take today to move forward? The only way to overcome the fear of failure is to take action despite that fear. Every successful entrepreneur that you admire has failed countless times, but they kept going. And that's what made the difference in their success. Remember, success is built on a foundation of past failures. If today's video resonated with you and you're ready to redefine failures as a stepping stone to success, then you need to check out my book, Fail Fearlessly: Transform Your Life by Learning from Mistakes and Building Resilience. This book will show you how to cultivate a growth mindset so that setbacks no longer shake your confidence. You'll see how to turn failure into powerful feedback that fuels your future success. You'll see how to create an environment where failure drives innovation instead of fear. And you'll also learn how to align your goals with your true values and build resilience in every area of life. Fail Fearlessly isn't just about overcoming fear. It's about using failure as your greatest asset to achieve personal and professional growth. If you're ready to stop letting fear dictate your choices and start turning failure into fuel, go ahead and grab your copy today. A link will be in the description below. Okay, I'd like to hear from you. What's one fear that may be holding you back in your business? Go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're working through it. Keep in mind that your failures don't define you. Your response to them does. It's time to start rethinking our view of failure and moving forward with confidence. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and please hit that like button and subscribe for more business insights. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.